Okay, hey, we're gonna wait just a minute. I'm gonna try to let everybody kind of pop in here. So give us just a minute and then we'll get started, guys. Okay, and if you can, while we're kind of waiting, can you guys see my screen that says federal, state, and company disclosure? And can you hear me? Can you guys kind of type in just yes and yes? Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right. So we've got a good number in so far. So we're going to get started with this, and then I'll kind of go into an intro of myself, and then we'll kind of get going to the actual webinar here. So let me play this, and then we'll be right back.
State regulations, we are providing the following disclosure. Please stay tuned, as this will take less than a minute. Foreign exchange, futures, and cryptocurrency trading are highly risky, and you can lose all the money you invest should you decide to engage in live trading. We are not responsible for your investment, trading, or tax decisions. We are not licensed financial advisors, traders, accountants, stockbrokers, or attorneys. We are not licensed commodities brokers and do not engage in or facilitate commodities transactions. We are not an introducing broker, and we make no recommendation as to where you should invest or what broker you should trade with. As you apply what you learn, we recommend you seek advice from licensed professionals. Any trade results that we show should not be considered typical of our students. We do not and cannot track the results or performance of our students' private trading accounts. We do not know what a typical or average student earns or loses trading. This is not a get-rich-quick program, guaranteed system, or business opportunity. We sell training and trading tools. We make no promises our training or tools will generate future income for students, and you may not make your investment back, including your investment in this training. Any redistribution or recording of this material is strictly prohibited without advance written permission.
Perfect. All right. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks for popping on here with me. We'll get rid of that. Let's just kind of leave this open here for a second, and I'll introduce myself. So, hey, my name is Phil. Last name is Farmer. Sharon, I saw you pop in at the very end and say hi, so thanks for coming. I'll give you guys just kind of a short introduction of myself. I recognize some of these names. Some of you guys I don't recognize, and so I want to make sure you kind of know who the heck I am and a little bit. So let's see, April. So in just a couple months, April will put me at my 6-year mark of teaching, coaching, mentoring, working with traders. So definitely been around quite a little bit. I do have kind of a script and things that I need to follow while we're on the webinar, but I want to make sure that it's interactive. And so you guys that have found the chat, please do your best to hit me up with either questions or answers or comments. I do have a pocket full of virtual golden stars right here that I'll be handing them out to everybody that gets all the questions right. So if you want a golden star this evening, be ready to answer some questions or actually ask some questions as well. So let's see. So I'm married. I got 3 kids. I kind of started looking into trading because I wanted more time. And some of you guys I've talked to about this. Mustafa, welcome, pal. Some of you guys I've talked about this, and I think money gets you material things, but our family cares about experiences. And so for me, I wanted to have the time to have experiences with my kids, with my wife, and trading has allowed us to do that. So I come down, I teach this class once a month. Other than that, I work, during the day and trade in the morning and run my own basketball club in the evening. I'm in the gym all the time, and trading has allowed me that luxury and that opportunity. So I don't know why everybody is here looking into trading. But for me, that was the reason why. Before I got into trading, I was a mentor coach. So I was working with high school kids that were trying to get recruited to play sports in college. That was kind of the reason why I went to the South from Vegas, because I played in college and then I moved back out west. So I'm actually here in corporate offices in Salt Lake area in Utah. And so there's a little bit, if you have more questions about me, you're welcome to. A lot of you guys that I've been working with or have met already, you guys already knew this, so I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. So the first thing that I wanted to kind of get into is, you guys have already kind of said that you can hear and see me, so those are good. I've got a little checklist over here. You guys will see me kind of mark off. I want to make sure that you guys are all in the correct meeting. So this is what we call the Trader LITE. Some of you are a day old. Some of you are going into your 4th week of being in the trial. And so I love the trial. It allows you guys to really kind of take the can off, or the lid off of the can, and really try everything out to make sure, is this something you feel like you can do, want to do? Are we the right people? And, do you find interest in it? And for some people it's not, and that's okay. But that's why I love that we have the trial, and we have multiple webinars throughout the week, all kinds of recordings, and we'll talk about those here in a minute. But just wanted to make sure that you're in the right meeting, or, if not, kind of raise your hand and let us know. We'll try to figure out how to get you guys into the right meeting. So we, as a company, I told you, so I'm going on 6 years of mentoring, coaching, teaching. As a company, we've been around. Good, Jared. Hopefully I'll make this basic enough for you that are brand new, but also the people that have been around for a few weeks. Hopefully everybody will kind of get something about it. So we've been around 13 years teaching people online and in person. Obviously, a couple of years ago, when shutdowns happened and that, a lot more went to online, but we still do here at Corpus offices. We still have people in person that come every Wednesday night. And so if you guys are local, you're welcome to come down, shake hands, meet us. If not, you guys have got to be okay with the camera. And I always like to make the joke, like, this is not really me. So if you're working with Phil, this visual is not correct, because I have to dress nice right now. But normally I'm in shorts and some flip-flops and a hat. So don't let this image get burned into your head, because this is not really me. Okay, so tonight I really want to help you guys understand the back office, understand the indicators, understand how to place a trade, and start to learn the first trading strategy. So for like Jared, for Bill, you guys said you're kind of brand new. Mike, brand new. Hopefully by the time we get done, I'll have said some things that are making sense. And then this is recorded, so it'll be in the back office, and you can kind of fast forward, rewind, and kind of do whatever. So there's kind of my intro. Good to meet you guys. A lot of you are hopping onto the chat, so that's awesome. What I want to do is first kind of get into the back office here. And so this is where you get logged in. A lot of you guys are going to look exactly the same. I want to kind of talk about the dashboard right here. So this nice big, when I hover over it, turns red. If we click on that, it's going to pop us to a different screen here. Okay, so especially for like Jared, Mike, and Bill, you guys all just literally typed in that this is your first, second, third day. This is going to be really beneficial for you. So if you go right here, you can click on register for the webinars. So you guys can see these are all done on Mountain Time, and then all help do the math as far as off of Eastern, because a lot of people understand that well too. So Tuesday mornings, 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 Eastern. We do our live trading. Richard, good to see you on Wednesday nights. So right now, this is at 7 o'clock Mountain, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then we also have our Thursday night at 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Eastern. So those are all going to be events that are hosted by us here at corporate at the offices here. Two of them are live trading, and then tonight is training, but we will try to see if we can find a few trades in here as well. So that's going to be the first part. You want to get registered for those webinars. The second part is to get into your day trading courses. And so there's about 5 courses right here. So if I were to click on LITE courses, you guys can see So you've got welcome, intro to green chart, intro to our core indicators, the 2-chart trade, which is the strategy we're going to be covering together this evening, and then kind of talking a little bit more about the trade simulator, and then I'll cover that as well. So there's your courses. If I go back to our dashboard, you can get your access to your indicators right there, or it's right here. So if you hover over, you can see how it pops up red for you. And then I really like this one where you guys can actually get in and go to the community chat. So you can chat with some of the other people that are in the trial. And so if you go to this part right there that says LITE community chat, click on open community. And then this will take just a second. I apologize. So you guys can kind of see we've got different traders in here. We're showing some different results. But there's all kinds of new messages. So if you guys have anything, if you need help, type that in. One of the coaches, one of the admins, one of, somebody in the office can get that question answered for you as well. And then I also kind of say, if you should be working with somebody individually during the trial, always reach out to them too. Either way, we'll get those questions answered for you guys. So that's the back part where we go to the LITE dashboard. So hopefully that all made sense for you guys. Looking good there. I am going to pull this back open, get our indicators rolling here from the set of here. Oh, so Robert, that was good. So Robert said some of the guys get on in the morning and post a trade or two into that LITE chat room. So if you get up in the morning and you want to start trading, hop in there, see if there's anything listed that you guys can kind of go look at. So I'm going to get our indicators set up here. So hopefully you guys saw I clicked on the indicator button and it popped up this. Now what I want to do is up here across the top. Actually, let me ask, can you guys see that circle that I just drew in there? Let's make sure that the marker is working. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so right there, if you click on, actually, I don't know if you have to click on it or you can just hover over it. Yeah, if you just hover over it, I want you guys to find this one that says 4-chart trade, and that's what we're going to be talking about and discussing this evening. So we're going to click on that. We're going to click Don't Save, and then it's going to pop open our 4 different currency pairs. On the top section, you'll see that it has the currency pair of Euro US and the 5-minute. And then if you go straight down, it's going to have the same currency pair with the 1-minute. So this gives you all 4 currency pairs on the same screen, as well as our trade simulator we'll talk about in just a second. So if you guys want to get that loaded up while we're kind of talking and discussing, I would advise you to do that. So I want to stay back on the back office here for just a couple more minutes. Across the top, you can see where it says webinars and events. And if you hover your mouse over that, the second one down that says recordings is going to show you these webinars that we just talked about. So the Tuesday morning, Wednesday night, Thursday night, if you guys aren't able to get on them live, but you want to go back and rewatch them. So the Tuesday morning and Thursday night is what we call the live trading room. So if you click on there, it's going to pop up and you can see the one from Tuesday morning. So yesterday is right there. And then the one from last Thursday is right here. And so those are just going to drop off. So once we put up the one from tomorrow night, this Thursday will, last Thursday will drop off and kind of so on. So there's always going to be 2 recordings there for you guys to watch. If I go back up to recordings and I go to the one that says Trader LITE meeting, which is what we're in right now, this is going to have 4 that rotate based off of the dates. So like this one right here that you see from January 5th, that one is going to drop off as of tomorrow. And then the one that we're on right now is going to be right here. So you guys can kind of see last week was Jaron, 2 weeks ago was Jaron, 3 weeks ago was myself, and then we had Sean. So we kind of just rotate who's available, who can hop on and kind of teach. And so you'll be able to get some different voices, different teaching styles, and obviously, different ways of explaining things. So there's your kind of recordings that you guys can kind of go through and look at those. as far as the back office. The courses we already talked about. So there's your Trader LITE. These other ones are not open until you move past the Trader LITE and actually go into one of the programs. And then, yeah, so that's going to be the main thing. So webinars, I talked about the LITE webinars, recordings, either the live trading room or the Trader LITE room. And then up here across the top is where you can get to your chat section as well. So real quick, I'm going to take a swig of soda. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I explained so far? Okay, so Joanne said that I'm cutting in and out. Is anybody else having that issue? Yeah. So I got one other one, Joanne, but everybody else is kind of saying that we're good, that they can hear me. So it might be your internet, and Richard, you were the only other one that said yes, but everybody else is saying that we're good. So I'm going to keep cruising. I apologize if for some reason it keeps cutting in and out on you. Make sure you hop in and watch the recording. So, okay, perfect. Richard, what if you want to go ahead, type in your question. Once you get it typed in, I'll get it answered for you. Oh, no cutting. Okay. If you do have a question, go ahead and type that in. Once I see it, we'll kind of go through it together. So sorry, Joanne. Everybody else looks like we're good. So let's see here. Aaron said he's looked for recordings, but you're not able to find them. Okay, so Jared, let's answer this question first, and then Rick, Aaron, I'll come back to yours. So Jared said, how can we open up charts and still be able to watch this? You would just have to do two different browsing windows and then just kind of pop back and forth. So you'll want to watch, and then when we find a trade, just pop over to your chart and be able to place that trade in there. Let's see here. So Aaron says, I have looked for recordings, but not able to find them. So Aaron, right here, if you hover over where it says webinar events and then go second down to recordings, and then come over to live trading room or Trader LITE, they should be in there for you. So right now we're in the Trader LITE room, and that's where you see these 4 different recordings here. So hopefully that helps you, Aaron. Richard said, how do you change a currency pair in the trade? So let's kind of talk about that for a second. So let's pretend that our charts opened up. Yeah, okay. So there's your question. So Richard said it only gives you 4 choices. So in our simulator, we have only 4 currency pairs that are available while you guys are in the trial. If you look over here underneath the search section, though, you could see how many actual currency pairs we do have available for our indicators. But as far as for the simulator while you're in the trial, there's only the 4 that are listed. So you have Aussie US, Euro US, Pound US, and then New Zealand US. So hopefully I got that answered for you. Okay, so for some reason, if you guys switch your charts up there where remember we circled right here, and your simulator is not popping open, it's going to be right here at the top right where you have the arrows that go up and down. So if we were to click on that arrow, you'll see how it pops open the trade simulator. And then we just come down here to I agree. Okay, good on there. Now we have this to where you have your sell button, you have your buy button. We have it already pre-populated with your take profit of a 30 and your stop loss of a 90. So you don't have to worry about putting in take profit or stop losses, especially right now when you guys are brand new. And then right here is where you can hover over and then switch. Actually, you have to click on it, but you could switch out your currency pair. And that was kind of what Richard said. There's only 4. So there's your Aussie, your Euro, your Pound, and your New Zealand. Okay, good on that so far. Yeah, Andre, everybody else was saying that I was sounding okay. Andre said it's breaking up a little bit too, but everybody else was saying that we were doing okay. You might have to watch the recording if it's breaking up on your side. I apologize, but I've got thumbs up from everybody else. So, okay. So this is the 4-chart trade. I want to get in and kind of talk about that with you guys a little bit. I'm going to explain some of the basic signals of what you're looking for. And then we'll kind of talk about some possibilities here. So I'm gonna come over here for a second. I'm not going to talk about this yet, but I'm going to use it more for being able to write on here. So I am very visual. A lot of you guys are, I don't know. I try to like to write things out. So when we look at the top section or the 5-minute chart up here, what we are looking for is the number in green. So this number right here. That's the first thing that we're going to be looking for. And that's, if you guys watch one of the course videos out of the 5 LITE courses, it kind of talks about this as well. So what we're looking for is we want that number to be either up above 8 or we want it to be down below 2. So I'm going to write this out. So that number, we want it to either be above 8 or we want it to be down here below 2. So that's going to be on the 5-minute chart that you guys are looking at. Once it gets up above 8 or down below 2, then we're going to go start looking at the 1-minute chart. And I promise you, I'll show it to you. I'm going to write it out first, and then we're going to go start looking at the 1-minute chart to kind of explain that for you. So if you're above 8, which means we're going to be starting to look for a sell. If we're below 2, we're going to start to be looking for a buy. Okay, so that's going to be the 5-minute chart that you're looking. And then we're going to move over. So this is the 5-minute chart. And then we're going to come over here and start to look at the 1-minute chart. Okay. So if we get above 8 on the 5-minute chart, we're going to be looking for a sell. So now we're going to start to look at the 1-minute chart. And what we need to happen is the red line to be above the green line. And then we want the price or the candle, either whichever one makes the most sense to you. We want it to go down below both of those lines. And I promise you, I'm just going to write this out and then we'll explain it. So if you got some questions, bear with me for a few minutes. Hopefully I'll get most of them answered for you. Okay, so if we're above 8 on the 5-minute chart, we're going to then start to look at the 1-minute chart. We want that red line to be above the green line. And then we want the price or the candle to post below it. Okay. Now, if we are below 2, then we're going to start to look at the 1-minute chart, and we want the green line to be above the red line, and then we want the price or the candle to go above it. Okay, so that's what we're kind of looking at as far as that. So I got a question that was typed in here from. I don't know how to pronounce Wrath, hopefully. So the question he had is, what is pips? And that's on this chart over here. So we'll talk about that in just a second. I was more using this for the blank screen so we could do that. So I will get back around to that. Don't worry. I did not miss out on your question. We'll get that answered for you. Okay. Well, thanks, Ahmad. I appreciate that. So as far as, the 2 things that we're looking for, remember, so we're looking at our 4-chart trade. So we're going to look at the 5-minute first. We want it to either be up above 8 or down below 2. So you guys can kind of see right there on our first chart, we're at a 10, which is awesome. And then on our second chart over here, we're at a 1.3, which is, so we have 2 of these that are starting to set up for us, right? Because we need it to be above 8 or below 2. The next 2 charts is at 7.8, so it's getting close. The next one's at a 5.3, so it's right in the middle. So we are looking at our first 2 above 8 or below 2. So these charts are not in the past. These are up, up, up. There. Oh, okay, sorry. It froze on me as I was switching back and forth. Thanks, Joseph. Okay, so let's move this back for a second though while I'm explaining this. Let's come back to right here. Just because, so I did not catch that they were a couple minutes behind, but thank you. But that'll help with the instruction of what we're doing right now. So on this Euro US, you can see here, we're above 8, okay? So then we're gonna start to look below on the 1 minute chart. We're gonna start to look down here. And remember, what is our rule? So if we're above 8, we need the red line above the green line, and then we want the price to post or freeze below it. Ooh, Richard, great question. So Richard said, when you say post below the 2 lines for a sell, for example, is that at any point on the 1 minute or at the end of the 1 minute? Great. I love the way you actually type that out, because I can just answer and say, when I say post, it means that the entire minute has finished, and then that candle is now frozen, and we're going to start to move to the next candle. Perfect. Great question. Thanks, Richard. Okay. So now we're looking down here. We're above 8. Look what we have that is setting up perfectly. And I promise you we'll look for some live trades, but I wanted to make sure we show this to you guys too. So we're starting to look good right here, right? We have the red line above the green line. So on the next frame, let's move it forward just one. See how the next one, it didn't go all the way. So the candle didn't go below both of those 2 lines. But on that one, can you guys see that there? So the candle actually, the red line was above the green line, and the candle got below both of them. Do you guys see that? Hopefully that's making sense to you. So had we have been live, thank you, Joseph, for showing me that I wasn't. A couple minutes ago, we could have taken this. We're not going to take it now because we're late. But had we have been live, you guys can kind of see there it went, and then it starts to go all the way down. So looking good. Let's get back to being live again. There we are. So we would have actually won that trade had we have taken it live. Look at that big old down movement. So now we're waiting for it to start to turn to head back up because we're down below 2. So now we can type in any questions, and I want to talk about possibilities per trading session or per trading day. But we do have a couple that are setting up here, because this pound US, we might be able to take a buy here in just a minute as well. So I'm going to kind of watch this for a minute because I get sidetracked. But if you guys have questions, type those in as we're kind of going. We might, like I said, we're getting close. If this candle finishes above that green line right there, we're going to take a buy, guys. So if you have your charts open and your trade simulator open, make sure we switch it to the pound US, because that's the one we're looking at. So we're going to watch. Hopefully that finishes. We got 30 seconds for that line to finish above, or excuse me, that candle to finish above both of those lines. I will get to, so there's some questions popping in. I'll get to those here in a second. If I start answering those, we might miss our entry. So let's wait for this to finish, and then I'll start to get to those questions. So if you guys have more, keep throwing them in. We'll get them answered for you guys. Let's see if that finishes up above. Okay, and it did. So now we're going to make sure that we're on the pound. We have our take profit and our stop loss set in there. So we're going to click on our buy because it did everything we wanted it to do. And then now let's kind of start talking. Okay, so Aaron said, can you take the trade without the 5-minute chart completing the 5 minutes? Yes. So you just need it to be up above 8 or down below 2, and then you could start to look at the 1 minute for the next things to happen. So remember, on the 1 minute, if it's above 8, we want the red line above the green line, and then we want the candle or the price to finish below it. If we're below 2, then we want the green line above the red line, and we want the candle to finish above it. Okay. Next one. Clint says, what about the orange line? Okay, so Clint, I'm trying to keep this as basic as possible. So the orange line is another indicator that goes along with this, but I'm trying to give us less steps in the beginning, and then we can start to add some more. And so the orange line is good, but I'm going to leave that out of this lesson and just talk about the number in the green box and then the color of the lines below it. So you are correct, though. It is important. I'm actually working with you, so we can talk about that on our next phone call if you want to. Mo said, how do we deal a reversal just after it went below the lines? So that's why we're waiting for that time frame to close or to freeze where we want it to. So the 1 minute, we're waiting for that. There is always going to be ups and downs, right? I mean, you guys can look here and just look at the candles on our 5 minute on the pound. Look at, so we had up and then we had down. Now we're starting to head back up. So you're always going to get movement of ups and downs. That's the reason why we have you guys. Joanne, the Aussie is setting up for a sell. So it is up above 8. So we'll keep watching that. It is setting up for a sell. So good catch on it, but it's not setting up for a buy. On a buy, we need it below 2. So we need it above 8 for a sell. Yep. Okay, so we'll keep watching that one as we're talking here. But Mo, so that's kind of how we deal with the reversal. We do have a 1-to-3 ratio because this is brand new. We're trying to give you guys a little bit more room for error. Almost like if you've never gone bowling before, or you have somebody that's little with you bowling, they put up the bumper lanes. So that way you don't strike out every time. It's going to be much more difficult if we do a smaller ratio. So that's why we set you guys up on a 1-to-3 here in the beginning, kind of give you a little bit more room for error. Okay, so Jared said, how do you make money on a sell if the market is losing? Okay, so look at that. We just won that trade too, guys. Hopefully you took it. Jared, I'm going to answer that in just a second, but if we go here to closed, you guys can see this is the one we just took tonight. We got in at 7:29 Mountain Time. It took less than 3 minutes and we made $30. Hopefully you guys saw that. Hopefully you guys were following along and took that one with us because it closed out in less than 3 minutes. So had that have been obviously real money, we would just made $30. But instead we made 30 in the sim account. And like I said, hopefully that will, hopefully you guys took it with me. So let's see. So Jared said, how do you make money on a sell? Robert, that's awesome. Good work. So Jared said, how do you make money on a sell if the market is losing? So Forex is different than like stock market or like crypto, and those you have to buy in order to be able to sell something. We can make money in either direction. And so if the market is going down, we can click sell because it's 2 different currency pairs going against each other. So the broker actually puts you in at a sell because we say the market's going to go down. If it does, and you ever take profit there, that's how we make money. Richard, you might have gotten in just a couple seconds later than mine. I don't know, but it should pop out here soon for you. So Aaron, it should close. It should close automatically. Yes, Jerome. We're talking here the next couple of days. I can go into that in more detail for you, but it has to at least cover where you got in. So some of you guys got in a little bit later than where I did. It might still be open, but you guys did see that mine closed during those few minutes. Aaron says, will 3 pips cover most spreads? So that's a little bit more advanced than some of these people that are on here. So for most parts, if you're using an actual demo account or a real money account, your spreads are going to be smaller. So you'd be looking at, 2, 3, 4 points. And so a lot of times you're going to have to go for like a 3.5 pip move in order to cover that spread. So, yes. So yeah, Jared, it is better on a desktop or we have a larger screen. So like my laptop's only a 13-inch screen, but it is better. Yes. So let's see here. Jerome. Yep. I answered that one for you. Richard. Yeah, they should be. I mean, They should be closing any time for you guys if it hasn't. Let's see. Okay, I think I got all the questions so far. We're going to keep watching the Aussie because we're still up above 8 on the Aussie. So what do we need to happen in order for us to take a sell on the Aussie? I need somebody to type in the rule. So if we're above 8, what's the next rule on the 1 minute chart? I got a gold star. Okay, Joseph, good. You get the first one. Okay, perfect. Man, you guys are catching on. This is awesome. Pauline, I like yours. R and G over C. Perfect. Mustafa, you got it. Red candles should go below both lines. Correct. Remember the other thing. So a lot of you guys are saying it, but let's make sure we all remember that we want the red line above the green line, and then we want the candle to finish below both of those. So, but yeah, you guys are catching on. Good work, man. I don't know if I brought all these virtual gold stars to hand out to all you guys. I'm joking. No, you guys are doing awesome. So keep it up. Hey, did your guys' the ones that were saying it didn't close yet? Has it closed for you? Jerome and Richard, it should have closed for you by now. Okay, Jerome said yes. Okay, good. Richard, did yours close? It should have. Okay. Okay, Joseph, should be soon. There you go. Okay, sweet. All right. So you guys, it took a little longer. So Andre said, my pound order didn't show up as closed, but I see the profit in the black area under the sell. So yours might still be open, Andre. You're saying it's right here. Is that what you're saying? Sweet. Good job, guys. That's awesome. I love when we can take a trade and it takes, a few minutes. 3 weeks ago, here, I'll show you this real quick. So 3 weeks ago on this webinar, I took 3 trades. You guys can kind of see. So this one, I took it closed a minute after the webinar ended. I took this one right at 8 o'clock. That one closed a minute after the webinar ended. And I took this one and it closed 12 minutes after the webinar. So all 3 of them closed. The last time I did this, if you guys watched the recording from a few weeks ago that I showed you, they all did close profitable, but none of them technically closed on the webinar. So I love when it closes and we can all kind of talk about it and talk about having a closing winning trade. So we're still waiting on the Aussie US. So if somebody can help watch that while I go and talk about some of the possibilities of trading based off of, how many hours, those type of things. So Mustafa, thank you, sir. Yeah, we're still up there. And then actually, if you'll watch the New Zealand for me too, I know you've been around a little bit longer than others as well. So if you can watch both the Aussie and the New Zealand, because they're both up above 8, we'll see if we can try to find a couple more. Richard, we never got below 2 on the Euro. US. Oh, you just typed in USD. Yeah, so the Aussie US and the New Zealand US, if you guys can kind of watch those while I go into some of the possibilities. I love talking about this part. Okay, so when we talk about pips, and you guys kind of look at it, is Joanne, so is it a good idea to close a trade that is in reversal or should I wait? So I love this question, and you beat me to it because I was going to kind of talk about this here in a little bit. I love this question. And Wrath, I'll get to that. That's what I'm getting ready to start on, is talking about pips here. So I'll get both of those answered here in a second. So Joanne says, is it a good idea to close a trade that is in reversal or should I wait? Okay, so we have on the simulator, we have you set up with a 30 and a 90. All of you guys should be working with somebody like me during the trial where you can get questions answered. I tell people in the beginning, especially right now, your first, second, third weeks, is because you're new, because you're just learning this, say this strategy, or you're just looking at these indicators, you might not do it correct every time, but you can go over here and look at your closed orders and see, the profits or the losses. Now, if you're working with someone and they say, hey, Joanne, how are you doing? And you go, well, I've lost, 6 trades and I've won 10, but you didn't let any of those 6 actually go the entire stop loss, you don't really know how you're doing. Because a lot of times if it starts to go against you a little bit, you get scared, you hit that close button. It could have just gone down a little bit and popped back up, or vice versa, could have gone up a little bit and come back down. So I kind of tell everybody, because it's monopoly money, because it's demo money and you're just trying to learn and you take the trade, let it go the full distance either way. Nobody cares right now if you're good or bad. We just care if you're learning. That leads me into this example. And some of you guys that I've talked to, you've heard me say this before. I have 3 kids and I've taught all 3 of them how to ride a bike. And I promise you, when I was teaching them in the beginning, all of them crashed. Not one of them took off training wheels and immediately were riding on 2 wheels. They would crash. And then I, as a parent, would go, hey, you're okay, get up, you'll learn. You're just learning, you're new, whatever. I was trying to keep positive with them until they actually learned how to do it. So that's what you guys should be doing with yourself, especially if you're new to trading, new to our indicators, new to Forex. Don't be too hard on yourself. Everybody wants to be, a professional within 2 or 3 days. Well, if you just learned how to ride a bike yesterday, do you think you could go do a backflip on a bike tomorrow? We would all laugh at each other and go, yeah, right, it's going to take forever. You got to learn, you got to practice. But we don't give ourselves that same courtesy when we're trying to learn how to trade. So, all right. So there was my answer to that. Joanne, sorry, that was a little bit longer of an answer. So Andre said, I did another pound sell trade when the webinar started. I'm showing 60 in the black area, but nothing below under closed orders. Yeah, Andre, I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. I can't see your screen. I don't really have an answer for you, Andre. I will tell you, you're welcome to kind of type that into the chat room and take a screenshot and let somebody look at it. They can help you, but just kind of reading that one, I don't know the exact, I don't know that for you. So I just joined the Trading University a couple hours ago. Can you walk through how to put the actual trade details in? Are we using the buy, sell form next to the charts, or should we switch to the turnkey MetaTrader to place the demo? So some of you guys have an actual broker account, MetaTrader set up. For this webinar, and especially like for you, Faye, who's just a couple hours old, not even a couple days, definitely use the trade simulator because it already has everything set up for you, your take profit, your stop loss, and then you just have to click the buy or the sell button. So I would say for sure, use the simulator right now. As you start to learn and you get a little bit more comfortable, then you can switch over and start to use the MetaTrader if you have that downloaded. So, okay, Joseph, Gap may be setting up for a sell as well. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So we're up above 8 on the 3 of them. So pound, Aussie, and New Zealand. Yes. Richard, I'm just going to say, yes, you are 100% correct, but no, I'm not going to talk about it because a lot of people don't understand it. I'm not trying to confuse them, but yes, you are correct. Okay, Joanne, good. Opposite. Yep, you're right. So yes, again. I'm just going to say yes. I don't want to confuse people if they don't understand and stuff yet. Okay, so pound might be the next one setting up. That one's looking better than Aussie or New Zealand. Yeah, Andre, honestly, I don't know. I don't know that answer. I would definitely say, yeah. So Sharon, if that closed, so we just started a new one. You see how that candle did not close below both of those lines? So we're going to wait. Hopefully on this minute it will, and then we'll take a pound USD. We're going to click sell on this one. So let's see if this one closes below. Yeah, you're right, Mustafa. Thank you. Yes, Sharon. So if we're looking for a sell, we do have the red line above the green line, which is good, but we want that candle to the body. We want that actual candle to finish below both of those lines. So all three of those are setting up right now. So within the next 20 seconds, yeah, Mustafa, I'm looking at all of them right now. So we're getting close. We got 15 seconds. We're just going to kind of wait for a second. You guys can keep typing in questions, but I'm going to kind of focus here. Jared, no, because all three of those are above 8, and we're looking for the market to go down. So that would be a sell. And none of those three actually closed below those lines. So now we're waiting again. So yeah, so Jared, if we're above 8, we're looking for the red line above the green and then the candle to be below, and then it would be a sell because we're looking for it to go down. So if this Aussie, New Zealand, either one of those stays there for the next 30 seconds, we're going to take a sell. Yeah, Sharon, it is below, but we want it to finish. So we want that candle to post below both of those lines. Okay, we got 20 seconds. You guys keep typing in questions or comments. I love it. Okay, remember, don't just come over here and click sell if we see one. Correct. So Karen said, or excuse me, Sharon said it needs to finish out the whole minute. Yes. And look what happened. None of them still. Look at the pound. Look how much it went up against us. So we're waiting. So we're still going to be watching these. So Jared, the upper chart is where we're watching for it to be above 8 or below 2. That's a 5-minute chart. Each one of these candles represents 5 minutes. The lower chart is where we're watching for the lines, the red above the green and the candle to finish below, or the green above the red and the candle to finish above. That's what we're using for our timing or our entry. Now, you guys, hope you guys can see the movement that's happening. That's why we wait in order to take these trades. Aussie is still setting up good. It just hasn't done it yet. Look at that. It still didn't finish. Man. This is the one thing about trading is patience. I can't remember who I talked to today. A couple people we talked about patience. Sharon, I think we talked about patience yesterday, maybe. I know. I'm like, I know I've said it a couple different times, but this is where we have to be patient, right? And so, I mean, they're 1-minute candles, so it's not like we're sitting around for 4 hours for these things to happen, but we want to make sure that we're following rules, we're following the pattern, we're following what we're trying to be taught, so then we can get a realistic idea of how we're doing and what we're learning. Okay, so Aussie still looks like it's going to be the first one, but we need that candle to finish below both of those lines. Okay, so finish below. Nope, still didn't. Forrest said, what are the best times of day to trade these currencies? Looks like ATR, which is the average true range, are a little low. So part of it, Forrest, and I won't get into too many details on the ATR because a lot of people don't know what that is. But because these time frames are so small, the average true range is going to be much smaller as well. The best times to trade these currencies, I'm going to give you the opposite. And Jeremy, you'll probably laugh because we talked about this earlier. The best time to not trade is in the afternoon. So these are all paired with the US dollar. So all 4 of these are going to be active much more in the morning up until lunchtime, a little bit after lunchtime. But I always kind of tell people the best time to not trade is in between lunch and dinner. So after dinner until you go to bed, crazy hours in the morning, those are all going to be active and working. We're finally getting it. So we could get 2 here within this minute. We're finally getting some down. So if either one of those 2 finish below, we'll take the pound or the Aussie. So that's what I kind of talk about is the best time to not trade is the afternoon. In the evening, it's going to be like the Aussie or New Zealand are going to be more active just because of where they are in the world. They're during the day right now where it's middle of the night for us. In the morning, euro and pound are going to be more active. But technically, you just don't want to trade in the afternoon. Is going to be the slowest time of the day. Yeah, Joseph, we can still take it because we're just waiting for the second rule to happen. So the first rule did happen. It got above 8. And then now we're just waiting. So we're going to change our symbol up here to Aussie US. And hopefully that freezes. Okay, so there you guys can see red line was above the green line. So now we're going to make sure we're on Aussie US. We're going to click on sell. And then if I click down here on open, you guys can see we've got that trade that is now open that we got in at 7:51. Okay, so hopefully you guys saw that. I am not no. So Sharon, yeah, I'm going to answer this one question, then I want to get to Rath's question about pips. I'm not going to look for any more trades, just because I want to get in and teach this to you guys about the pips and the possibilities. So we're not going to look for any more trades, but I do want to answer this. So Sharon said, it sounds like you can't get online, place trades, and walk away. Sounds like you will need to spend time monitoring then the trade. No, you don't have to monitor the trade. You have to monitor your routine or your rules. Once those rules happen and you place the trade, then you could get up and walk away and go do whatever you want to. We don't have to sit here and watch this trade right now. Like the trade's in, we've got our take profit or our stop loss. So you can get up and walk away. But say you set out, like I got 30 minutes this morning to trade. You just want to make sure that all your rules happen. Then you place the trade, then you can get up and walk away. So, okay, good. Yeah, New Zealand went. I'm going to just keep this one in because I want to get over here and cover this. We only got a couple 8 minutes left. So we do have this one trade in. We'll keep that one. We'll just stick with the 2 trades tonight. I do want to talk about this just because you guys have a lot of questions, but they were good questions. And some of these trades took a few more minutes for us to wait around for them to set up. So when we talk about points and pips, so Rath, you have been very patient. You asked this 30 minutes ago. So thank you. So PIP stands for percentage in points. So what that is when you look at the price, you could see that over here, there are 5 digits after the price. So percentage in points. So the PIP is going to be the second to last digit. The point is the last digit. Right now, that does not matter to you, except for we're going for 30 points, which would equal 3 pips. So right here, where I say you guys can see 3 pips or 30 points, it's the exact same thing. Some people talk in pips, some people talk in points. I don't really talk in points except for on this webinar to kind of help teach you guys and understand. So right now, we are trading on a lot size of a 1, right? Like that first trade we took right here on the pound where it took 3 minutes. We traded on a lot size of a 1. You guys can see this right here. So it equals $1 a point or $10 a pip. Okay. So on a lot size of a 1, we're making 30 bucks. I hate talking about days because we got everybody from doctors to lawyers to construction workers to stay-at-home moms to whatever. And so some people are going to be able to trade more than other people. So I like to talk about what you can make in a trading session. So let's just say today, right now, we took these 2 trades. Oh, look at that. We just won. You guys see that trade we just took on the Aussie? That took 3 minutes and 12 seconds, but we made another $30. So in this session, so we didn't really start looking at trading until about 7:30, 7:20. So right now, technically we've been trading for 25 minutes. The first 20 minutes, I was explaining all kinds of stuff. So technically we've been trading for 25 minutes. We did 60 points or 6 pips. So we made $60, right? So let's say you have a trading session where you sit down and you go, hey, I could trade for an hour. Andre, how do you manually close the trade? So underneath open over here, this X button, you can manually close it right there if it hasn't closed out yet. Okay, so let's just say we have an hour to trade and we get into 3 of these or 4 of these, right? And so when I look at 10 pips or 100 points in a session, that's going to equal $100 on a 1.0. If you have a bigger account or you've been trading longer, you have more margin and you trade on a 5.0, that's $500. I'm just going to keep talking on a 1.0 because it's simple math. And that's where you guys are kind of starting at. What if you were able to do 2 sessions throughout a day? Maybe you're able to trade for an hour in the morning, an hour at night. You did 10 pips or 100 points each section. Well, now you look at it, I mean, that's a couple $100 in 2 hours. And so that's why I like to talk about sessions rather than days, because if you can do 2 or 3 sessions, well, now you look at this. Let's say you did 10 on each session, you did 3 in a day. Well, now you're looking at, $300. And so these are all possibilities of what ifs or what is possible and what can you do. And because everybody is different. When I first started, I was still working a 9 to 5. I had an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-week-old. And my wife was a stay-at-home mom who did not get paid any money for the amount of work that she was putting in. So I was getting up an hour earlier. I would trade. I would go to work. I'd come home. I'd be husband, father. And then I would trade for another hour at night before I went to bed. And so if you can find 10, 12, 14 hours in a week, these are some of the possibilities that are there for you. Now, a lot of people go, oh, I'm so busy. And then I kind of look at them and I go, how busy? Are you really that busy? Because I'm pretty sure we all watch Netflix or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, right? I mean, cut those things out and learn how to do this, because none of those things are going to make you any money. So these are the possibilities that you can kind of look at if you're able to do 1, 2, 3 sessions in a day. I do 8 sessions in a week, but my morning sessions are 2 hours. And then I do 3 evening sessions and I'm here on Wednesday nights. But I do 8 sessions in a week, works out to 13 hours total. And I feel like anybody can find 13 hours if you want to. And anybody can say that they can't find 13 hours if they don't want to, and that's okay. But that's why we set up and have the trial the way we do, so you can really get a chance to try this out, see if you like it, see if you can have some success, and then be able to make an educated decision, hey, do I like this or not? So the last thing I want to kind of talk about is the promotion this month. I'm not going through any of the programs, what's included, what's involved. Whoever you're working with, they can get you that info for you. But this is my absolute favorite promotion that we do. And it's where you are able to get your coaching done in half the time. And so what that means is instead of meeting twice a week for 6 weeks or 9 weeks, you're meeting 4 times a week and you're able to get it done in half the time. To me, if somebody is making that decision that this is what they want to do and they want to change their, their life or their circumstances, or they want to get out of the job that they're doing, most of the time people want to be able to do it quicker than what they're at. And so this is my absolute favorite promotion that we do is being able to get it done in half the time. If you want more details on that, whoever you're working with, just say, hey, Phil talked about the promotion. Can you give me some more details? Whatever. Clint asked me, what time do I start trading in the morning? So I trade 6 to 8 Mountain Time, which is 8 to 10 Eastern. And so those are my hours. Sometimes I get to the basement at 6:15, 6:30. Whatever time I get to the basement, I trade for 2 hours. And then that's it. So I compartmentalize my trading. And if I don't, I promise you I'd be sitting here like this, looking at my phone, looking at my trades the entire time. So I trade for 2 hours and I'm done. In the evenings, usually it's about 9 o'clock Mountain Time. I do coach a lot of basketball, so sometimes it's 9:30, 10 o'clock by the time I get on there, and then I trade for an hour at night. So my homework for you guys is, if you are not sure that this is what you want to do, or we're the people that you want to be taught by, or that these indicators don't work, practice and don't be too hard on yourself. Once again, I go back to the riding the bike or being able to do a backflip. Like, if we're teaching our kids how to ride a bike, we're not hard on them if they fail in the beginning. Us as adults, we want to do something and we want to do it perfect. And we want to be good at the very beginning. And I think that's sucky. I think that's not fair. And so don't do it to yourself. Make mistakes, have fun. And then whoever you're working with, be able to go, hey, I took 3 trades in a row and I lost all 3 of these. Can we figure it out? And whoever you're working with, you guys can go back through and replay that trade together and be able to go, hey, you know why you got this wrong, Clint? I'll use your name just because you were the last one. You know why you got this wrong, Clint? Because you didn't wait for all the rules to happen, and they didn't happen, and then it kept going against you, and that's why you lost. And then you could go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so don't be too hard on yourself. Continue to practice. Have fun. I appreciate you guys being interactive with me. Thank you for the questions. Hopefully you guys thought it was good. I do need to play this one more time before we end. You're welcome to type in any questions to the chat that you have. And then if you're working with me, you guys all have my number. So you're welcome to text me whatever you need to. So thanks, guys.
Due to federal and state regulations, we are providing the following disclosure. Please stay tuned, as this will take less than a minute. Foreign exchange, futures, and cryptocurrency trading are highly risky, and you can lose all the money you invest should you decide to engage in live trading. We are not responsible for your investment, trading, or tax decisions. We are not licensed financial advisors, traders, accountants, stockbrokers, or attorneys. We are not licensed commodities brokers and do not engage in or facilitate commodities transactions. We are not an introducing broker, and we make no recommendation as to where you should invest or what broker you should trade with. As you apply what you learn, we recommend you seek advice from licensed professionals. Any trade results that we show should not be considered typical of our students. We do not and cannot track the results or performance of our students' private trading accounts. We do not know what a typical or average student earns or loses trading. This is not a get-rich-quick program, guaranteed system, or business opportunity. We sell training and trading tools. We make no promises our training or tools will generate future income for students, and you may not make your investment back, including your investment in this training. Any redistribution or recording of this material is strictly prohibited without advance written permission.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. I will say, so Richard had one more good question before so the people that are left on here. Richard said, does it matter if it's the wick or body that closes above or below? So we want the entire candle to close above or below, not the wick or shadow. So not the lines. You want the entire body of the candle. Okay. Hopefully that answers for you. Don, call into the office. You can ask them there. So if you want to write this down, the 800 number is 1-800-301-7482. 1-800-301-7482. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good night. I appreciate it. We'll see you.